Hello and welcome to a GML breakdown. I am your host, one of the leadership team here in GML, Coach Winuvas of the New Orleans Saints at this current time. And I want to talk to you about the draft board. Now, to those who are in my other leagues, the WFL and the XFL, particularly the WFL, the draft board is known as Buckland's Big Board in that league in particular. Here it is just called the GML draft board. We don't have a snazzy name for it or anything. But its functionality is the same. So if you know it from WFL, you can stop the video right here if you're a fan or a veteran of WFL. If you're not though and you're new to GML, I do want to bring this up for you. This is our GML draft board. I'm going to bring it up on screen right now. Here it is. And right now I'm currently set on the quarterback position. Now what I want to call your attention to here, and I'm going to highlight it on the draft board to show you as we go. The main things you want to look at are going to be this here, which is our athletic quotient. And all this is simply is an addition of all the attributes that are athletically based. For quarterbacks, that is acceleration, agility, change of direction, that's what COD stands for, jump, speed, and strength. So those 6 attributes together, or excuse me, there's 7, forgot throwing power is in there as well. Those 7 attributes make up a quarterback's athletic quotient. Now, as I come back on screen here, each position has at least 6. 2 of them have 7, which is quarterback and kicker, or 3 positions, kicker and punter, have kick power as part of their ritual as well. So there are 6 athletic attributes, and each one of those is assigned a score from 1 to 5 or 6. Let me double check real quick. Upon further review, it does go up to 6. That value goes up to 6. So on athletic quotient, as I was saying, goes from 1 to 6 on each attribute, with poor marginal being the lowest, rated at 1, all the way to great elite, which is rated at a 6. Everything else is in tiers as we go down the list from 6 down to 1. And basically this athletic quotient value at each position is simply just adding up those numerical assignment values to that player across the board. So basically Jalen Crockett has an athletic quotient of 32. So if you were to take his 7 attributes, acceleration, agility, change of direction, jump, speed, strength, and throw power, and add those values together, so we have 6, I believe this is going to be 4, this should be 5, this should be 5, and that should be 3, and that should be 2, and I believe if you add all that together, that's going to come up to 32. Now, the skills quotient, the SQ, that is an addition of all of the letter grades that are assigned to a player for skills. It's a skills quotient, so anything that is in athletics, starting with the quarterback's case, and awareness, break, sack, carry, so on and so forth, until you get to trucking. All of those are considered skills for a quarterback, and they're graded on an A to F scale. Now, A would equal 5, and F would equal 1, B would equal 4, C would equal 3, D would equal 2. So that's kind of the breakdown. And essentially, you add up all those values based on the letter grade that that position gets, and that gives you a total number, and that is that player's athletic quotient. And that is what is highlighted as I get back to the chart here. That is what is highlighted right here. So as you can see, Jalen Crockett has a skills quotient of 56. He's probably the most skilled quarterback in this draft, and it kind of goes from there. Now, this is all based on Madden as far as the order in Madden of their draft projection. So all these players are going to be organized by their draft projection. But the athletic and skills quotient, so this number here, this ASQ, all this is simply taking this number and adding this number. It is a sum of these two numbers. You can even see the formula right there, C2 and D2. So essentially, this player has a total athletic and skills quotient of 88. Now, you're probably asking, what in the world does that even mean? What does 88 even mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means as I scroll down on the page to the bottom. And there's a hidden field here that I hide to make it easier for you guys to read it. But if I expand it, which I can as the owner of the document, you can see that A maximum BSQ, or skills quotient, is 75. Maximum athletic quotient for quarterbacks is 42. Total max ASQ is 117. So this score, out of 117 possible points, Jalen Crockett gets 88 out of 117. And that's what leads to this number, which is the athletic and skills quotient percentage. And all this is, if you're any figure out in math right now, take the 88, divide it by this 117, and that gives you 75.21%. So essentially, this is how the prospect is rated on a scale of 1 to 100. This is how the prospect rates. The closer that number, this percentage is to 100%, the better the prospect is according to our draft expert, our draft board. That's basically how good that player is. So as you can see, if you look through this list, Jalen Crockett, even though he's listed as a top 5 pick, according to our draft board, is not the number 1 quarterback in this draft if you go by athletic and skills quotient percentage. It's actually Mike Hayden out of Oklahoma, who is projected as a round 2 to 3 prospect. So what this board is designed to do is to give everyone hands-on information that's not in Madden and give them information on every prospect so they can make an informed decision when it's their turn to pick. It was designed, it's been redesigned over the years. I've been using some semblance of Buckman's big board, or the draft board as you guys will know it here in GML, since we restarted the WFL in Madden 16. We've used some form of Buckman's big board / draft board, and this is the current iteration of it. And essentially what it does is it gives you everyone in the league access to information that they don't have to be on the console to have, and they can use this to make an informed decision. And I'll show you a couple other things with this draft board in particular. Something that I hope to do on draft night, which I'll show you real quick right here. The real big board. So the real big board is simply taking every single position, as I come back on camera for this, taking every single position and taking that athletic skill quotient percentage and listing them in order of that number. So if I bring it back up, you'll see that according to the draft board, the best prospect in this draft is defensive end Brett Baker out of Oklahoma. He is projected as a top 5 pick. His ASQ percentage is 87.91%. That is very close to 100, and that is the best by about 4 percentage points over a strong safety, Devontae Wheaton out of Vanderbilt, who is projected as a borderline round 1-2 pick, but a guy who, according to the big board here, is rated as the number 2 prospect. So you can scroll through, and I'll show you as we go down here, every one of these players that shows up in that list for each position, because each position has its own tab. You can see quarterback, there's halfback, there's fullback, so on and so forth. Every position is shown, and when you get to positions like offensive tackle where they have left and right spots, you can click in here and you'll see left tackles at the top of the list, and as you scroll down there'll be a draw line right here, and then you'll see right tackles right there. So all your offensive tackles are right here. All your outside linebackers are right here. Your safeties, free safety and strong safety, are right here. So you can easily come in and look at positions, or if you just want to look at the actual, just the big board itself, you can come in here and look at it. If you want to download a copy of it, you're more than welcome to. If you have any inkling or skill with Google Sheets, you can easily kind of fiddle around with it and see what happens. On draft night, I plan to be updating that real big board as best I can. As picks happen, I plan on logging them into the spreadsheet, and then you will see basically picked players, and you will see best players left available on that real big board tab. So hopefully on draft night I'll be able to update that if I'm able to be there on draft night, and I'm hoping to be there for every draft night for GML and running these drafts for you guys. But that's just kind of a little synopsis of the GML draft board. Again, for those of you in WFL, you know this board. This board has been maybe some of your lifesavers. If you talk to anybody who's in WFL, they will swear by this board for helping them find some sneaky picks. Usually those guys that are higher up on my draft board are usually either high overall players or players with dev traits. So usually you can use that draft board to find those guys that might have some sneaky hidden dev traits. Not always. It's not always accurate because, again, the draft board is not an exact science. It's a very good tool, but it's not exact. I'm going by scouting that's in the game, and I will tell you, if you look in game and you have 50% scouted, which is currently as of our draft board for season 4 when I'm recording this, it's at the point where every player has at least 50% revealed. If you look at a 50% revealed player, there's a gap of letter grades. It could be from C to F, it could be from A to C, it could be from B to D. What I do in those scenarios on my draft board is I put the middle grade of those 3. So if it's got a listing of A to C in game, I will put B to basically put it in the middle. It could be an A, which is better, but it could also be a C, which is worse. So it's not exact. So the draft board, while it is a good tool, it is not an exact tool. The only way I get exact information is if I have 100% unlocked on a prospect. And honestly, few of us are going to have many players unlocked 100% potential. So this is a nice mix for you to be able to look at it offline, kind of get a battle plan, especially if you're unable to make the draft, being able to set your favorites board. If you're not familiar with that, I can do a video on that if needed. I've done a video for that for WFL. I can do one for GML if needed. But you can set up your favorites with this. I do that for WFL to give me a list of draft guys on draft night. So I usually set up about 125, 150 players, which is a lot. But I get the top like 150 on that big board, and essentially I usually have about at least 5 or 6 players at the end that are still on my favorites list in rounds 5 and 6 that are still pickable. So that's a pretty good track record for being able to get some solid prospects. And generally speaking, it works well for everybody that's used it. So I want you guys in GML to use it, to learn how to use it as a tool. It is a tool. If you do not wish to use it, you do not have to ever. But I will tell you, if you talk to WFL guys that are here in the GML, they swear by Buckman's Big Board, and this is essentially what this is Buckman's Big Board, but for the GML. It's just called the GML Draft Board. So that's been a breakdown of the GML Draft Board. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to hit up myself or any member of GML leadership, or just chat us up in the chat in Discord, and we'll be glad to help you out and get you figured out and get you squared away. Thanks for your time. I've been Coach Winuvas, one of the leadership team here in GML, and this has been a breakdown of the GML Draft Board.